All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started then, since it's 9:30, a couple minutes past. This is the May 24th Special Events Team meeting. Just a reminder for folks, the Special Events Team, the city convenes all of the agencies that are responsible for signing off on special events, big public events in our community, with an effort to make them as fun and as safe for the community as possible. We do this, make it easier for event organizers and all of the agencies alike to be able to coordinate. So a couple things, it is a public meeting. We are live streaming and it stays on our YouTube channel forever. So mind your P's and Q's. And we will go around and do some introductions. Ed, we're going to do it a little bit differently this week than we have in the past, in that I'm going to call on you when I look over and see where you would normally be sitting with us. So not waiting until the end. So you actually, Ed, are the one who starts with introductions today.
Hi, good morning. That sounds great. Ed Graves with Boise City Public Works.
Conrad McDaniel, Republic Services.
Vince Vergara, City of Boise Parking.
Julianne Hagler, City Risk Management.
Summer Altieri, Boise Parks and Rec. Sierra Padilla Hewitt, Downtown Boise Association.
Sierra Garachana, City of Boise Community Engagement.
Linda Scopletti, Ada County Paramedics.
Jesse Tappert, Boise Fire Prevention.
Joe Deathman, Boise Fire Operations.
Taylor Gomez, Police Events Admin.
Matthew Konvalenko, Boise Police.
Steve Walker, State of Idaho.
Rachel Holford, City of Boise Emergency Preparedness.
Dina Sugas, Boise City Clerk.
Kelly Frank, Boise City Clerk.
All right, good to go. And I'm Maria Wegg with the Office of Community Engagement and the Office of the Mayor here at the City of Boise. So we will start. We have 3 event organizers today and then 1 after action. So we'll start with the Bodo Block Party. Ryan, I think we have you online.
Yeah, hi, I'm Ryan Hickey, Director of Entertainment and Programming for Geronimo Hospitality Group. And we operate the Warehouse Food Hall in the Bodo District. And we are excited to open sometime around this time next year, the Hotel Renegade. So we are, relatively new to the Boise community and certainly excited to be a part of it. And one of our first big events here is going to be the Bodo Block Party, which is going to be, basically a celebration of all of our tenants on that block. I want to thank everybody with the city for helping us along the way as we prepare for this event and kind of getting all of our, permit and application paperwork submitted. I don't know where you want to start or what questions you have, but I'm certainly happy to answer anything that I can.
Thank you, Ryan. This is Kelly Frank with the City Clerk's Office. We did get your presentation and we have that uploaded here, so we'll get the screen switched over unless you'd prefer to run it off of your PC.
No, that's fine. We can follow along on yours.
Okay, that sounds great. And I see that you have Annie online as well.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Nicole D'Antonio is there in person on our behalf.
We did see her as well. Thank you.
Yeah,
so we'll get that presentation kicked up and then you can just take it from there. We do just want you to go through the event, the date, the time, all the information in the application that was outlined in the confirmation email.
Absolutely. So I'll kind of give you the overview. The Bodo Block Party will take place on Saturday, June 24th. It will be the same operating hours as the Warehouse Food Hall, which is 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. So we will have live music out on 8th Street, which will be blocked between Front and Broad. The Warehouse Food Hall will be open as usual with all of the tenants inside. And the Treefort Music Hall will also be hosting live music in their space inside. And then they'll be celebrating their kind of official grand opening of the rooftop space, the Hap Hap Lounge. So excited about that. Hoping to have the cinema involved as well. And we'll have the Front Street Lounge open, I believe, by then. So That's kind of a work in progress. But again, we're trying to involve every tenant just in terms of being excited about the event and kind of celebrating their presence at the space. We will not be doing any food outside, but we will be doing alcohol sales outside. And we will have a live music stage that we are getting from Downtown Boise Association. They're also bringing their game kit. I don't know what it's officially called, but the kind of game, Jenga and that type of stuff that they have. And so we'll have that all outside. Live music will start at 11 a.m. The last music act will end promptly at 10 p.m. We're not going to push it past that at all. So hopefully there are no concerns about noise after hours. And then at that point, the event shuts down, the warehouse closes, and it's done. And then we'll start tearing everything down as quickly as possible. We are renting portable restrooms, which you can see indicated with the orange squares on the left side of 8th Street there. We're using Northwest Traffic Services to do the street blocking. And then we have our own bike rack barricades that will create the perimeter for the event that will go from the street block to the corners of the buildings at the respective north and south barricades. There will be minimum 6 foot gaps in the bike rack barricades on all 4 sides of that, where there will be a security guard placed, and those will be official entrances and exits for the event. There are no tickets required, but we are creating that perimeter so that alcohol sales can be maintained in that area, and security understands that drinks can't come in and out. They can come in and out of the warehouse, but not in and out of the event out onto the other public areas. We will have security guard stationed, like I said, at those 4 spots, as well as roaming areas on 8th Street, around the entire building and inside the warehouse food hall. And live music basically running the entire time on that stage. We're also having the Steelheads come out and do kind of an interactive hockey, presence, some games and, shooting and things like that for kids. There'll be some members of the team, and their mascot, I believe, is coming. We're working with them on that. Like I mentioned, we'll have the games from downtown Boise. And, other than that, it's just kind of a block party, street celebration, hoping people will go inside and enjoy the food and beverage inside from the tenants in the warehouse as well. And, encouraging everybody to check out the music hall, check out the cinema, and all of our other tenants that are on the block. So that's kind of the overview of the event. We'll have several people from our team, doing everything from running the bars, managing the information table, where we'll have, the music lineup, first aid kit, questions about where to find things, that type of stuff. We are going to have some water coolers stationed outside, because we know it can get hot that time of year in Boise, and lots of people in that community carry their own water bottle, which I certainly appreciate. And so we'll have water outside. And, again, the food hall is right there adjacent to the street, so people can certainly go in there to cool off and find food and other beverage and that kind of thing. As you can see here, the run of show starts technically on Thursday night when the parking meters get bagged by the parking crew there. And then Friday morning, I believe it was Kelly's recommendation that we wait until after rush hour to get the street blocked. And so starting Friday morning, the street will be blocked so that we can keep it free of any vehicle traffic, so that Saturday morning, starting at 6 a.m., we can get the stage brought in, and then portable restrooms and, getting the sound set up and everything like that. And then starting at 10 p.m., that will then go in reverse. You'll see the sound and lights get taken down. The stage will come out, and then Sunday morning, the portable restrooms will get removed, and then the street can be reopened, hopefully by noon on Sunday. And as I mentioned, we're working with Northwest Traffic Services for all the street blocking and traffic management. We're working with MAB Event Services for security. Valiant is doing the stage. We're partnering with Treefort for the live music lineup. And Rocky Mountain Portable Toilets is bringing the portable restrooms. And then the warehouse team, specifically the loading dock and Camp Cocktail, will be doing the beverage service for us. And again, there will be no other additional food and beverage vendors outside on the street. Everything else will be maintained inside the warehouse as usual. And I believe that covers everything. Like I said, the only other thing is the Steelheads will be there. with a kind of a pop-up presence, and then the games from downtown Boise. What questions can I answer?
Thanks, Ryan. So now we go back around the table, sort of in the same order that we did introductions in, and these folks will have questions for you. John Wasson, late to formation this morning. We'll start with Ada County Highway District.
Another meeting, sorry about that. Ryan, when is all the traffic control going to be removed from the entire area? Not out of the right of way, but all gone?
I have asked them to do that on Sunday, but I will confirm that with them. And I guess to some extent, I need them to answer that question. And as far as I know, they're not on this call or in the room. But I've asked them to do that as soon as possible on Sunday, preferably by noon, so that everything can be restored. But I'm certainly not trying to dodge your question, but I don't know exactly when they'll be there. And this is my first time working with them and first time doing an event like this in Boise. So
okay, I'm going to have to make it real easy for you. It's got to be removed Sunday.
Okay.
No ifs, ands, buts about it. That
Works for me.
area is an incredibly high demand pedestrian area, and we don't have grass in that area that we can just throw signs in and get it out of the way. The entire area is either patios or pedestrians. So you're going to have to tell Northwest that they're going to have everything gone by Sunday, so that Monday morning, first thing, we have clear space for pedestrians. And I'm sorry to do that. I know it's going to be a pain for Northwest, but that's kind of what our customers are going to expect, and the city's going to beat me up on if it's not taken care of.
Well, I certainly don't want that to happen. I will make sure that they get that message.
Thanks, John. Ed?
Hi, thanks. Ryan, just some quick clarifying questions. So will the attendees be able to walk around with like the alcohol that they purchase, or is that just enclosed within the warehouse?
They will be able to go in and out of the warehouse onto 8th Street with alcohol they purchase.
Okay, and how's that being served? Like in a can, or is it plastic, or?
Yeah, well, everything that we serve outside is going to be cans or plastic. We won't have any glass being served outside. We do have glassware that's served inside at Camp Cocktail Bar. And we're certainly going to do our best to ask people, or, try to keep the glassware inside. We don't want glassware going outside. Obviously, if somebody gets a glass outside, the best we can do is just, get it inside as soon as possible. But
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I would just recommend, if you could, try to stick with cans as much as possible and get away from the plastic cups. That's just from a kind of a low waste stance. And then also, so are you planning on using any additional like on-site, like kind of smaller trash recycling cans to capture any of the extra, or are you just relying on the existing like sidewalk trash and recycling bins?
We will have additional cans out there, and Nicole, who's there today, can maybe shed a little bit more light on what we have available in our plan for that.
Yeah, Ed, you probably couldn't have heard that. 8 bins on site.
Yeah, we can't.
Okay.
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 Does that answer your question?
It does. I will reach out on email and we'll get everything figured out. But then also just thank you for the water refill stations. I think that's a great thing to have. So, but that's all I've got. So thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and to kind of go back to your question about what's being served outside, we're keeping it very simple. It's really just going to be canned beer or canned non-alcoholic beverages. We're not pouring anything out there, if that makes sense.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yep. My pleasure.
Hi, Ryan. This is Conrad with Republic Services Trash and Recycling.
Hi, Conrad.
Hi, Ryan. You plan on using the compactors there at Bodo?
Yes.
Okay. I figured, and I looked at those, and they're serviced just about every day, if not every day. So you should be good there. I just maybe put this on in the back of your mind to think about what happens if you have a super large crowd and too much trash, too much recycling. Where are you going to put that?
Okay.
So we have two trash enclosures, one at photo 4 and one at photo 7. So the plan was any overflow would go into the photo 4 trash.
And Bodo 4 is empty from equipment.
It's not empty, but it has an additional compactor.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. That answers my question.
Nicole, can I ask you to maybe come up to this table if you're going to be answering questions so that you can use the mic? The only way the system and the folks online can hear is with the mics. That'll make things a little bit easier, I think. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Annie, Ryan, we are set to go in parking. We have the times that we need to put the hoods in, as well as the times we need to remove them. So we're set to go. Thank you very much for all the help and hope the event goes well.
Thank you.
Hi, Ryan. This is Julianne with City Risk and Management. We received your certificate of liability and have already approved it. So we're good to go.
Thank you very much.
Nothing from the Parks Department. Hey, Ryan, nice to put a face to the email.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, we're partnering a few different ways on this, but one of the, I think from the application, I reached out already to the compliance team as well as Annabelle, I think is her name, about the neighborhood notifications that we do require for this event. So we can chat further about that offline.
Cool. Okay.
Hi, Ryan and Annie. You said you had ADA portable restrooms on the street. How many will be out there?
I believe we have 8 standard and 2 ADA accessible.
Okay. And I'm looking at your map that y'all submitted and basically the traffic. And so we've got those stationed kind of on the sidewalk right off the street. So folks could actually, if somebody was using a wheelchair, I'd highly recommend at least one of those restrooms be placed in the center of that kind of bulb out, because or else you have that rolled curb that somebody could essentially couldn't get up to your porta potties. So I'd highly recommend that one being in the center where we kind of have that ramp and the dip and the rolled curb. And then I know there's accessible restrooms in the warehouse. If folks are kind of new to the area, I might recommend a sign, or if somebody couldn't get to the ADA restroom, if the one's being used, it's probably the only one you'll be able to access on that rolled curb. Maybe just a sign saying, hey, additional restrooms inside at northwest corner or whatever, just so folks, if there's a time constraint and a lot of use, can kind of quickly get to those restrooms.
That's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just trying to catch up here a little bit. Linda, the AD County Paramedics, nice to meet you. I'm not sure if this is going to go to a safety and security situation, or if we're going to end up just because of the number of people and not being able to pre-plan how many would be there. My concerns would be the first aid and making sure that that's available and marked so that your patrons can access that, as well as ingress egress for any emergency services that need to come through. I believe Cameo may have sent you an application, and if she hasn't, we'll get that out to you as soon as possible and figure out all those details for the emergency medical plan.
Annie, do you know if we have filled out that specific application? I know we've done a lot of paperwork for this, and I just want to make sure we have everything squared away.
I have not received an application for that specifically, no. So I don't have that.
Okay.
We'll make sure to get that out to you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
I believe to answer your question about ingress egress, I believe we're covered there. I'm going to be out, just so anyone who might want to meet with me in person. I live in Indianapolis, so it's, we're trying to kind of plan this remotely, but I will be in Boise June 13th and 14th. And I'll be available either day to meet with anybody or answer any questions on site to clarify any of these things.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation, Ryan. This is Jesse with Boise Fire. Just a couple of questions. First of all, you will need a events, trade show, and special events permit through the fire department. It's a separate permit that you're going to need to get that triggers an inspection. We just want to inspect the overall safety of the footprint the day of. I do want to have an offline conversation about stage safety and requirements when we get a chance.
Okay.
And then the stage location, can you put it as far as you can away from the building without blocking the hydrant that's also in that area too? Do you know what I'm talking about there?
I do.
There's a fire hydrant right there. Just make sure we have 3 feet of clearance from that fire hydrant. And I don't want to be blocking any exits. I think there is an exit, a corner exit over there in the building. And then the type of barriers. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I am meeting with downtown Boise about the stage placement when I'm there on, I believe it's the afternoon of June 13th. I don't know if you have my email address, reach out to me and maybe we can coordinate timing to get you down there during that same time frame. And if not, we can figure something else out, but absolutely happy to honor that request.
Okay, perfect. What type of barriers are you using for the containment?
For the street blocking, Northwest Traffic Services will use the orange and white barrel cones that you see. And then for the containment, we'll be using bike rack barricade. That's, what you see at a lot of events, the steel looks like.
And I think you mentioned it, but can you tell me again where the pedestrian exits are going to be?
Yeah, so they will be within the bike rack barricade that goes from the street. So there'll be bike rack barricade that goes from the street block to the corners of the buildings to create the perimeter. And then basically in the middle of each of those bike rack sections, there'll be a minimum 6-foot opening.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that does. Thank you. That's all I have.
Yep. Thank you.
No, and operations are concerned is always going to be access egress.
Yep.
We are currently updating a matrix, and I don't think it's going to apply to your situation, but next year we'll probably look at this, the medical plan a little harder and see how many people you guys bring in. We may enhance your medical capabilities. I don't know if you guys have this plan, but with the amount of people and your client base, I might recommend you guys have an AED in your first aid tent. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you.
Boise Police, we have nothing. We appreciate the communication on the security. Other than that, good luck with your event. Thank you.
Thank you.
The state also has nothing.
Good morning, Ryan, and everybody else. Greatly appreciate you guys reaching out in advance, sending us all the information that we asked for. So we were the ones asking for your medical plan, your ingress, egress, what your communication strategy was going to be and all of that. So we do have it. Read your email this morning. Looks great. Don't have any additional questions. But as stated by Fire, we will probably take a look at this after the event and kind of see what you guys experience, what was the attendance that you actually had? Did you have any concerns? And then we'll kind of look at that for the considerations for the return of the event and things that can be worked on. Outside of that, we are good to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Ryan and Annie Kelly with the clerk's office again. The health department is not in attendance today, but they did message me and just said that you guys were good to go since you were not using any outside food vendors. And then from the clerk's office perspective, I don't believe I need anything else. I'm just letting the team know that the run a show and an updated map with the ingress egress has been uploaded this morning. So they'll have access to that. But if you guys have any questions or anything, please don't hesitate to call me, or if you need coordinating for contact information when you're in town, I'm happy to help with that.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much. You guys did great for your first time up in front of this, and look forward to a long and successful partnership on these.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Nicole.
We're certainly excited, and thank you, Nicole, for being there in person. And, I can honestly say that we're just very happy to be doing this and really appreciate the partnership with this, downtown Boise and Visit Boise and everybody in the city who's helped throughout this process. And no one is more anxious to know the attendance than I am. I can assure you that. So we are really looking forward to being out there and making this happen, and certainly plan on doing this on an annual basis. So we will make sure that we recap everything in a timely manner after the event. And so anybody who has any questions, like I said, I'll be out there the 13th and 14th. If anyone would like to meet with me on site and go over anything, and then we'll make sure that we do the same after the event is over, so we can, get all the information gathered and start preparing for next year. So thank you for the opportunity to present.
Great, thanks. Feel free to stay with us or go on with the rest of your day. Up to you.
Okay, thanks so much.
All right. Mike and Dan and team, anyone else who's presenting on the 4th of July parade. Community is so excited to have this parade back.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to see everyone. We're excited to be here. It's a big event that we're excited to be a part of. Thank you to We the People 4th of July Committee for hiring us to produce this event. It's an event about unity for one day, getting everybody together for one cause to celebrate our nation's independence. We've put in some protocols to ensure that happens, but we have security protocols as well. Let's continue with first, we want to thank our generous sponsors. It's been amazing what I got to give a big shout out to Todd Christensen for leading this charge, but it's very happy with where we are with our sponsors, and it's been an outpouring of love, and we can't say anything more than that. As I just said, the community impact is bringing all Idahoans together for one day to celebrate our nation's independence. The idea from the beginning of this venture was to work towards 2026, which is our nation's 250-year anniversary. So this is our first year bringing back this glorious 4th of July parade. The Barrett family, who ran it for years, didn't have the band. They signed it over to We the People 4th of July Committee, a nonprofit organization that is running this event. And the Barrett family will be our grand marshals this year. So that's how we're trying to honor the past and move forward. Yeah, said all that stuff. We've, as most of you know, I used to sit in Summer's seat about 10 years ago, and the Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast was always a great event for the community that day. In our talks with the committee, I brought up, hey, let's talk to the Kiwanis about this and maybe move it to Cecil DeAndres. Unfortunately, the Kiwanis cannot do that anymore. So we brought in the Veterans Entrepreneur Alliance with Isaac Belden, who's going to present in a sec, and I'll sit up here next to him because I'm kind of ushering through this process. So we will have that as part of the parade. It's a separate permit, a separate everything, but it's going to add to the whole impact on that great day. We have broadcast partners. CBS2, Ryan Hawes, station director. And also in our radio partner is Cumulus Radio Group. So the word's getting out. We expect a big show up. We have volunteer coordinators. We've got the gambit on it. So it's going to be a very fun day. As I said, our grand marshals are the Barrett family. Our MCs are former Governor Butch Otter and his wife, Lori. They will be on the CBS2 deck with their broadcast talent. And we're looking forward to a great day. We are awarding prize money for floats for second and third. First place prize for the event will be a $10,000 big check that goes to their nonprofit of choice. Second place will be 7,500 and third place will be 5,000. So we're really focusing on the give back to the community and make this a great day for everyone. We do have some special programming. We're very honored to have the flag that was on the Space Shuttle Challenger from Barbara Morgan. She was a NASA astronaut and an Idahoan. We'll have a Flags of Freedom presentation, which is every flag the United States has ever had. And we're still thinking about where to place these, but it's already in place. We'll have honor guards. We'll have the Armada community marching bands. We'll have a hot air balloon liftoff. It's between 6:50 and 7:10 the morning of the 4th, weather accommodating. We anticipate that to come in front of the Capitol building. We have Radio Rancho in Espanol. We'll have Native American tribes dancing. We'll have new U.S. citizen recognition. We will have 3 flyovers, an A-10, Black Hawk, and then it's okay.
Potentially Warhawk.
And potentially a Warhawk. It's coming together quite nicely. So this is our parade diagram. We're using the typical parade route in the city of Boise. Obviously the star is the Capitol building. Do you want to talk about the 2?
Sure.
It's Dan Hill.
So traditional route going from west to east. And then the main shot, which you'll see in the next slide, the main shot will show kind of where CBS will be broadcasting from. And all of our pre-show will have activity on the steps of the Capitol beginning about 9 a.m. We'll show that also on the schedule. But those 2 medical stations, there's one kind of inside the loop of the footprint, and that's really to help expedite if we need to break gap, cut through to extract someone, but also to give us north, south, east, and west coverage. Our primary medical site will be to the right of the Capitol, as you're looking at on the diagram, and we'll have the ambulance stationary parked back there for easy egress without affecting the main footprint. There's another diagram, and we'll have with our traffic control plan submitted, we'll show where all the closures are that will affect where and how we stage those floats and vehicles going in. And then that small box to the right at Cecil DeAndres, that was just to really demarc Isaac's area for the pancake breakfast, which he'll talk about in his portion of the briefing. And then going to the next slide. So this is a diagram kind of showing the main front view of the Capitol. That triangle in the middle is an LED wall, a 2-sided LED wall that's going to be carrying the live broadcast from CBS. We'll also, for safety, while we're talking about it, we'll also be able to intersperse crowd messaging, public safety announcements, and pre-show loop slides. We'll have the ability to cut feed instantly, like a second notice if we have to, since this is a live event, if we have to go off air. So we have those contingencies built into our emergency management plan, which will continue to go out to the rest. Where you see the dotted lines, those are barricades, be they bike rack or fence line, but those are crowd barricades for the front line. And then those red lines on the right side, probably more for John, that will align with the traffic control plan, but those will be closures that will not be part of the parade route, but we'll need to extend to the backside of the Capitol for some of the support vehicle access. And yeah, so that shows that left to right. Where you're seeing the grandstand area, that semicircle, that is where all our pre-show activities, we're reading the Declaration of Independence and some flag presentations. So that's all kind of pre-show from 9 to 10. And then at 10 a.m. we step off and should be getting ready to cross center line in the shot. Here's a different angle from the opposite side of the street that shows the LED wall that's angled, left and right, oblique sides of the Capitol. It also kind of creates this magic moment where people who are walking the parade, they get that, hi mom, hi dad moment on TV. They see themselves, they see their float going past. We think that's really cool. And then that right side, that is the main broadcast where our MCs, Governor and Mrs. Otter, and the CBS talent will be broadcasting. We'll have multi-camera utilization throughout the course of the 90-minute broadcast. But this is kind of front and center, front of house for the front of the Capitol. Anything to add to that?
Yeah, Dan mentioned that we're going to be reading the Declaration of Independence starting at 9:17. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes. We have the state's treasurer, the Secretary of State, governor and lieutenant governor, and other leading people that will be reading the Declaration of Independence. So our security plan that we had a meeting for, we're staying on top of it because there's a lot of high profile people coming to this event, and our intent is to keep everybody safe. As Dan said, we have show stop capabilities already in place. But if in the worst case scenario, something does happen, we can cut and throw messaging up on those 2 video walls for people to vacate the area. Whether it be a weather event, there's all sorts of events that can happen. But yeah.
Talk schedule.
Yeah. Pull that up. Starting at 5 a.m., CBS will start their live broadcast. So that means we'll be loading in on the 3rd, which is a Monday. Cap Ed's hot air balloon launch will be between, like I said, 6:50 and 7:10. The Veteran Entrepreneur Alliance Pancake Breakfast will start at 7 a.m. Float marshaling and staging begins at 7 a.m. as well, probably a little earlier. It's going to be a long day for us, but and we might even some of our float entries that want to go for the money, we might stage them the night before. We have a partnership with the Idaho Power Building to use their Idaho Power to use their parking lot to possibly stage that. Our security company is MAV, and they will have people, obviously we'll be loading in, CBS will have a lot of equipment, we'll have a lot of equipment. So we'll have overnight security on that evening. Yeah, from the 3rd on. By 9 a.m., we anticipate all floats to be in place. Hard freeze, that's when we anticipate to shut down the roads. 9:17 is the joint reading of the Declaration of Independence. At 10 a.m., it's our hard step off. That's when the parade starts. And we have like I said, we have 90 minutes live on CBS. Flyover time for the A-10 and Blackhawk are still to be determined. At 11:30, CBS 2 broadcast concludes. And that doesn't mean that our parade ends. That just means their broadcast concludes. Any floats, our top 3 floats, we're going to judge that morning, and we'll have a board to says who gets what, and as they pass in front of the Capitol is when we will announce who's what. But we'll keep places in line of 3rd, 2nd, 1st, so we can make that seamless. We anticipate the parade to be done by 12 noon. We don't. One of our parade messages for entrance was, we're not going to throw candy. You can't give out any sort of toys. So we don't anticipate any trash accumulation at all. We'll talk about that for the pancake breakfast. We have MAV Event Services as our security and crowd management. We've partnered with St. Alphonsus Health Systems for our medical and first aid. Roadwork Ahead is doing our traffic services. Our audio visual for the parade walls or the LED walls is Production Strategies Incorporated. Our communications will rent radios from a radio provider called Bearcom. Our transportation will be provided by Peterson Chevrolet, and our sanitation will have porta potties, a few porta potties for the parade. Most of them will be in Cecil DeAndres for the pancake breakfast, but Porta Pros will provide that.
Including ADA ones.
Yeah, including ADA. And Isaac and I had a conversation about that last night, that we're going to make it proper. Yeah, and there's some QR codes. We have a website, a Facebook event page, parade homepage. And are you good to open up to questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you all. for
Thank you.
listening to our
Great. Thanks, you guys.
presentation.
John?
Well, it's nice to have the event back, and Mike always puts on a good, solid event. I know Debbie's working on this, and we don't have any questions at this point in time.
Ed?
Yeah, hi. Just quickly, I noticed on your application, 40 additional trash boxes and 40 additional recycling bins. I'll work with you offline. But I did notice you have a self-haul option. So is that self-hauling the additional trash in the trash bins that you're borrowing and the existing sidewalk trash bins also?
Existing trash bins. I mean, we can make that happen. We'll have about 100 volunteers that we can assign to that. So if that makes sense, I'd love to provide that service.
Okay, and that's probably not for me to decide. I was just curious, so I'll get with whoever knows and might have a better idea. I just don't want this event to completely overflow the existing trash cans for like the rest of the day.
We want to be good
for after the
partners.
event.
Yeah, we want to be good partners, and we'll empty. You know, there are people that are going to have coffee, and while we're not saying anything, there are people that are going to have coffees and whatever they're bringing down there that we'll make sure to take care of that.
Yeah, no, but thank you. I'll chat with you offline. I appreciate it.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Conrad.
My concern was the same as Ed's, where although I appreciate your goal and expectation to be zero waste, people are going to bring in and they will litter.
Yes.
So I just want to set the expectation that you have a cleanup crew and you leave
We're
the streets clean.
currently talking with the SEAL team, the sheriff's people that need to do community service and that sort of stuff. We're also, an idea is to have Curtis Clean Sweep come and sweep the parade route, but since nobody's throwing anything off their parades, we're still talking about that. And maybe we can get offline about that and see how, like, we're prepared to do that. I just don't know if there's a need to bring Curtis Clean Sweep in.
Okay. Yeah, that's not really my call for the street sweeper, but say your volunteers end up with one bag of trash, where does that go? That's the part I want to know about.
We'll take care of that ourselves. We'll have vehicles that we can take to the dump.
No, that's great, but I'm curious, like, where does that vehicle go?
The vehicle with the trash?
Yeah.
It'll probably be on the 5th, because I imagine the dump will be closed on the 4th. So we'll accumulate it all in a pickup or something, and then we'll dispose of that afterwards.
It will not be rolled up 2 blocks and put in another dumpster to make more work.
Okay.
No, we're not going to dumpster poach.
I wasn't accusing you of that. I just, a lot of people think there's a trash ferry and there's not.
No, there's not.
So I'd like to know where it's
well aware
going.
of that. Yeah, we'll take it to the dump ourselves.
All right. Well, thank you.
Mike and Dan, we have everything that we need from you in parking. We'll have the signs available for you on July 3rd about our front counter. And so we're set to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bet.
Hi, we've been in communications about your insurance, and just make sure it includes the dates of setup and takedown.
Yes.
I'm so excited to see this back. So two things, we'll make sure that the parks we lock out the water starting on the day before. And then as far as the parks downtown maintenance team, when you have your volunteers, if you do have overfilling trash cans, just pull them and then rebag them and we'll be good. Okay, thank you. Yeah, any help is helpful.
Hi, guys. Hello. We haven't connected yet on email, but as any parade, there's going to be a lot of neighborhood notifications. So we'll connect on that. Can you remind me of when your amplified sound is going to begin?
So we'll set up load. We're doing load in the evening, afternoon of the 3rd. So there'll be a little bit of sound checking prior to it getting late on the 3rd. And then the morning will not go live until 9 a.m. So 9 to 10 is from the steps, and that's going to be from the steps and also carried across the street on the LED wall. So there will be amplified sound at that point. But then the main bulk of it will be 10 a.m. for that 90 minutes on the side of the triangle facing the Capitol.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that LED wall sounds super sick. So that's going to be amazing. But I'll send you a few contacts I don't want to be forgotten on from that area, just for residents and businesses to be taken care of. Cool. Thanks.
Hi there. I think you mentioned ADA parking in your presentation. Has that been fleshed out just yet?
It hasn't been fleshed out just yet. I think ADA parking is something we need to talk about. Maybe we can partner with the post office. That's a good possibility. We'll work on that piece for sure. And I'll send you the resolution.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's totally fine. And I noticed some QR codes for the event to whatever website that gets to. I know parking downtown can be the biggest barrier for folks with disabilities. So any kind of like ADA parking, ADA restroom kind of up front on that website really helps to plan so folks can come out. So thank you.
We will add that specifically to our FAQ page and our safety.
Brilliant. Thank you.
And nothing from Ada County paramedics this time. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. After our safety and security meeting last week, I don't have any additional questions.
Yeah, same. I think we covered most of it in safe security.
We're all set and staffed. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, questions. Hot air balloon on the state property or no?
Well, it's hopefully on Jefferson.
Probably no. No open flame on state property.
Yeah.
But we'll try and work with you on different
property.
What's that?
That's why I said we plan it to be on the street in front of the Capitol, not, and that's why I just looked at John. We have to.
Well, you're in the jurisdictional nightmare trap. So
I know.
So mine's a no. John might be a yes. Unfortunately, it's just we have to stick to that. So,
Understood.
But it sounds neat. I mean, it sounds super sick. I already put a notification out for the Capitol Annex Old Courthouse parking lot for you guys for your first aid main location. So that should be good for you guys. We have some more work to do, probably offline with state police for the dignitaries and some barricades around that highlight spot where the otters will be presenting from. And I think that's it. Oh, when you guys figure out the freedom flag presentation, let me know.
We'll let you know for sure.
We have lots of sidewalks and hard surfaces, so.
So just to be clear, you can have a mechanical bull on state property, but not the hot air balloon.
That is absolutely correct.
Okay.
But the mechanical bull doesn't encourage reading, like the hot air balloon serves a purpose.
You never know. They provided like $5 million insurance policy for that. Something insane. I don't know those numbers, but it was crazy and it was sick.
We're getting some good nuggets today between the trash fairy and that's sick. I wish I could come up with some of these great ones. First off, this is how you celebrate the 4th of July. So excited you guys are back. You've done tremendous outreach with all of us in advance, and we've had a couple meetings thus far. So just plan for one more meeting with safety and security so we can finalize the details. That's also going to include where we can finalize the staffing. So for this committee, we at the city are also going to extend our command post hours that we have for the 4th of July celebration at Ann Morrison to also cover this, because we do understand it is going to be a lot of moving parts and we have a lot of resources working together. So in support of this event, we will go ahead and extend that time frame. The one thing I want to make sure of, so I don't forget, you did talk about the Idaho Power parking lot, which I believe is in the area of like 12th and Bannock. If you guys are doing that, please let us know, because that's currently where our engine 5 is working out of. And we just don't want to block their ingress and egress to get out of that station with those floats that are staged overnight.
As you know, we're familiar with Station 5.
Yes, you know, and you know they like their horns.
Yes,
so,
yes.
You know.
We'll be sure to keep you in the loop on that stuff.
Perfect. Thank you. And then we will want to do a walkthrough that morning with you, as we usually do, just to make sure everything's in place. And we'll have the team down there look at traffic control, set up security.
Yes, I anticipate to be kind of a floater because we'll have people in place to take care of everything else. And I'd be happy to walk through with you.
And Steve had a great idea for those of you coming down. We'll do it at the same time as the pancake feed.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
I don't have anything from the clerk's office. Just keep in touch if you need anything. The health department did mention that the parade historically has not been a significant food generating event, but they were going to check in with you just to make sure that that was still accurate. So they had it for their record.
All right. Thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you.
And Isaac, you're here to talk about the pancake breakfast.
I'm gonna stay here.
even begin to tell you how excited the council members and mayor are to have the pancakes back. For like literally for the past few years, I like get questions leading up to the 4th of July about where are the pancakes? When do we get to serve pancakes? All I'm hoping for in your presentation is some opportunity for elected officials to help with pancakes.
Well, and I can't tell you how excited I am to be a part of an event that's got so much history and so much love behind it. When I was asked to do it, I don't know that I fully appreciated the weight of kind of what the event means to the community here. So I'm excited for my organization to kind of take the helm and bring it back to Boise. So thank you. So to kind of get started here, my daughter and my wife would tell you all that I am a self-proclaimed master of the dad joke. So when I was trying to think of how to market this thing, I was like, I'm putting our logo on a pancake, and I think it's great. I also, as you'll see in the next slide, I wanted to come up with a name for it. And the next slide that I'm in control of. I went over a lot of stuff. I started with red, white, and pancakes, and then I went to pour some syrup on me, and just a lot of really random, ridiculous things. And then I said, you know what, this event, it's got a lot of history here, and they've always just called it the 4th of July pancake breakfast. And so I wanted to stay true to the original, no matter how tempting it was to get stupid with it. This is kind of our first run at our marketing for the actual event itself. I'm going to start by thanking sponsors as well. Albertson stepped up big and covered the cost of supplies and food for the event, which is obviously going to be the biggest lift of the event. And then I also have to thank CapEd. The team over there have actually been big supporters of what we do at the Veteran Entrepreneur Alliance from the very start. Actually, one of their guys over there, Albert Kang, was one of my founding board members and has just been an incredible support to us from the beginning. And then obviously media sponsors. This is more heavily on the parade side, but they're doing a lot of really great coverage on us leading up to the event. So I wanted to thank Channel 2. And then as far as volunteers go, obviously any event like this is going to require a lot of boots on the ground to make sure that things go the way that they need to go, and we're respectful of the space and of the people that attend. So the Idaho Veterans Network has stepped up big for us and offered to provide some volunteers, as well as the Idaho Division of Veteran Services that we work with very closely on a almost daily basis with the work we do at the VEA. And then, of course, being the new guy and not really knowing exactly what my gravity in this role was, I didn't know that I could bring in additional sponsors above what the 4th of July was doing. So I'm actually in the process of doing that right now. So now I committed a PowerPoint SIN here, and I put a lot of words on here. So you guys can read this if you'd like at a later date, but I'm going to kind of go broad strokes on it. The VEA at its core, we are an organization that is intended to help veterans kind of find what their next thing is, what their next mission, what their next purpose is when their time in the military is done. For me, it was entrepreneurship. I found myself screwing things up pretty efficiently and proficiently for a while, not knowing kind of what my next deal after the military was going to be. And once I got that first taste of entrepreneurship, really it was intrapreneurship at first, I had that back. I had a purpose, I had a mission. And one day I had this harebrained idea that if it worked for me, it would probably work for other veterans. As much as we as human beings think that we're also unique and special, we are in a lot of ways, but what makes us tick is pretty similar typically. So I wanted to create an organization that even for just one person could give them something back that would project them or propel them into that next chapter of their life. So we do that a lot of ways: collaboration, community building, education, self-care, which we don't always, or none of us are always very good at, but is a very important part of the equation. Now, what does this event accomplish? Obviously, it's already well established, and we know that it's a well respected and well received event. But from the perspective of bringing our organization into, it really propels our mission forward as far as building a supportive and collaborative community around our state's veterans. So for that, I'm incredibly grateful and incredibly excited to see kind of where that goes. And leading into the future years, rolling into the 250th anniversary, I think we're going to be able to do a lot of good for veterans. So, oh, and then the last piece, we're going to feed people a crap ton of pancakes. So here's my first run at creating an event map. You probably can't read a lot of that. So I'll go from left to right. The first yellow box there is kind of what we've identified as the main entry point to the park. It's kind of where most of the foot traffic is likely going to come in from. That red box is where we will have the pancake station right up against the sidewalk so everybody can get to it. That's where we'll be preparing the pancakes. All of the blue boxes behind there, that's where we're planning on setting up all the seating. We're going to utilize the existing shade from the trees so we don't have to bring in any temporary structures. Helps us with the setup and the tear down. Also helps not have to bring in fire permits and all of that. Don't have anything to burn down. And then what I don't actually have addressed here, that other box pointing at the center of the park, there was a question about ADA compliant seating, having people navigate the grass to get to tables with wheelchairs and potentially walkers or just unstable on their feet. That was going to pose an issue. So that center, there's a big, I call it a roundabout, I guess I don't really know what it's actually called, is large enough that we can place some tables around the perimeter of it on the concrete and not block the walkway. And I think that that'll give us a good solution for those folks that can't navigate the grass. And then on the bottom here, you'll see two white boxes. That's where we've coordinated with Republic to put a 3-yard and a 6-yard trash bin. We also coordinated with ACHD to make sure that that was okay. And we got a permit to place them there. And then what I don't have on here are the restrooms, but I think there's already a plan in place for those. So our sequence of events is pretty easy in comparison to the parade. I'm planning on being there. I'm an overthinker. So I'll be there at 4 a.m, probably pacing around, trying to make sure everything's in the right spot. 5 a.m. is when the CBS broadcast starts. We'll start serving at 7 a.m. or that's when people, I guess, will start rolling in. And then really it's TBD as far as when we wrap up, but we'll probably run out of pancakes before everything's done that day. But I just want people to not really feel too rushed. And as long as the parade's still going on, I want people to be able to kind of sit and have some time to be together and eat some delicious pancakes. Event services, really, most of this stuff is kind of overflow, or not kind of, it is overflow from the main event. We didn't have to manage a lot of that because we exist inside the perimeter of the overall parade event. And then I followed their lead and I created a couple of QR codes because, I mean, they seem cool. The Facebook one works. The website one does not. It will later today. I'm working with my website guys. Something happened and I couldn't get the event page working. So, but the Facebook one does work and it is super sick. I love that. I wanted to be the first person to like call that out because I thought it was awesome. And then he stole my thunder a little bit. So that's really all I've got. Open to questions. I can answer some of them, but he can probably answer all of them.
I'm here to assist.
Awesome. Thank you, John.
John Wasson, ACHD. My first military post was an armpit called Fort Leonard Wood.
Fort Lost in the Woods.
Fort Lost in the Woods, where I learned to become a
combat engineer.
12 Bravo with the first posting of the 23rd Engineers in Hanau, Germany. So essayons, and that's the motto for the engineers, say, let us try. And I don't know what let us make it happen is in French, but let's make this happen. It's a great event. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Hoo-ah.
Is it my turn?
Ed, yes.
Thank you. So just quick clarifying question. So you're renting, was it a 6 and a 3 yard trash dumpster on site?
Correct.
Can I talk you into getting more capacity and having the parade dump their trash in that? I think that would, I have rethinking about all this. I had some issues with self-hauling potentially that much trash, not directly to the landfill and having it sit for like 24 hours with potential fluids leaking. There could be vectors brought in. So could that be an option?
Ed, you can talk me into anything.
And Ed, Mike's giving you the double thumbs up. So I feel like we're good.
Sweet.
You're the professional.
Okay. No, thank you. That honestly, I think that'll help everyone out and be a lot more coordinated. Other than that, though, you also selected 40 trash boxes and 40 recycle bins to be borrowed. Is that for you both events to use and distribute?
Yes, that'd be for both.
Okay.
If
Okay.
we need more, let us know and we'll, like I said, you're the expert at this. We'll take your lead.
No, that sounds great. We'll just be offline and we'll get everything figured out. So I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, Isaac. I want to start with syrup, but I'll skip that part. Great idea, Ed. Let's talk more offline about getting the parade to combine their trash and recycling with the pancake feed. I got your street permit for that, so we're covered there. Thank you. Parking, have those meters been reserved?
Yes, they will.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I see you have a map there. That's great. I think that location is ADA parking, so we'll want to move it up north a little bit. So if you could revise that map and send it to me, that'd be great. But we talked on the phone last week, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned, and since Summer's here too, the event box situation is a little dire this year. I haven't heard from you yet on your fireworks, but we might want to start planning another solution. I know we had talked about the plastic barrels, so that's still an option, but we don't have a new shipment of inventory on those cardboard boxes yet, and it's making me nervous seeing that we're at the end of May. So we'll talk.
If it's something that we can use them, empty them, throw the trash bags into the dumpster, we're happy to run them up to Summer, and so we can both use them for the same day. I think because our events are different times, I think there might be a way to organize that.
Yeah, that's an idea. We still might be short anyway, but that would be a great way to resource them. So, thank you.
Isaac, we're set to go on parking. We know you guys are going to be coming in to get the signs and stuff, but where those trash dumpsters are at, what we'll do, I think on July 3rd, is we'll place some bags on the dumpsters where the dumpsters need to go. And we'll set that over on that west side of 6th Street, and we'll move them back from the accessible stall to keep that open. I don't know when you guys plan to get that stuff picked up, but we'll make sure that it's back toward the north. And then that way, even if it gets picked up on, say, July 5, we'll still have access to that accessible stall. So we should be in good shape. Thanks.
Thank you.
We've been working with for your insurance. That looks good. And I'm super excited for some pancakes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for this. I'm so excited you guys are coming back and going down to Cecil. It's such a perfect little spot for that. The one thing, there's no power down there. So just as you are, planning for whatever your needs are that day, generator, however that, there is water if you want on the corner of that, but it just depends on if you guys want that on, let me know ahead of time and we'll turn that on for you guys. And we'll just work together on the boxes, but we have plenty of time. So it's, thank goodness the sun sets at like 11.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for the presentation. I'm very pro pancake, so I'm down for this. Can you remind me of estimated attendance for this part of the event?
That is a wonderful question. So if you talk to my insurance guy, he says you can't hold an event in Boise without 5,000 people showing up. So I guess there's one guardrail, but having not done this myself and not getting any feedback from the Kiwanis, I'm not really sure.
Okay. My thinking there is maybe as you're doing your neighborhood notifications, we have some duality where we do like alerts to the community, and maybe a handout mentioning both events and the layers involved would be good. I know there's only like slight overlap in the whole route, but it could be good to kill two birds with one stone. So
thank you.
Thank you so much for the consideration for the seating on the grass. I would highly recommend putting that on y'all's website, like up front, just so folks know and like, hey, this is inclusive, especially considering our veteran community. Love that. Thank you so much. And then the volunteer staff, if any of those folks, they themselves might have a disability too, it might just be a good heads up to communicate ahead of time. Just thinking like duties, what they could do. It's just so much easier to prep ahead of the event versus like, hey, we've got a staff member, what do we do? So I'd recommend reaching out to the volunteers and see if there's any prior accommodations to set up there. So thank you so much. I'm a sucker for pancake and I think this is amazing.
Thank you.
Nothing from us at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. Can you describe your cooking line for me? What kind of equipment you're going to have out there?
So there's one of two ways it's going to go. So originally we had planned, and it still is the plan, I think, to be set up on tables with tabletop propane grills.
And how many of those?
Through event, right?
Through event rent? Okay.
Yep.
How many do we anticipate? 4, 3?
I would say half a dozen would probably be a good bet.
Okay.
The other direction that it could go is we were actually approached by the Rotary from out in Emmett. They have a trailer that actually has 4 cooktops and a food prep space that they're willing to let us use if we can find a place to place it without damaging grass.
So I know you were kind of excited about not having to get a permit for any structures or anything like that. Typically during parades, we haven't required a permit in the past, but this is getting kind of to the point where we may have to require when I want to have an offline discussion with you. We've got, lots of people, large crowds, we've got large TV structures, barriers. So we may have to do some type of special events permit between the two of you to get an inspector down there to inspect the overall safety, just because of the overall size and everything that's going on. So I'll contact you offline and we'll talk about that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, refresh my memory on your medical plan. I assume you're using the same first aid tent as the parade and that kind of stuff. Okay. Just wanted to confirm. Thank you.
Nothing from Boise, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's talk menu. Is it just pancakes?
So pancakes, it sounds like there may be sausage and bacon as well.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll be there then. I don't really do pancakes. So you guys are fans. I'm not. No, it's not my area. So it sounds great.
Thank you.
I love how he has to weigh in on your menu. Sounds great. If we'll just get that updated information once you have it on how you're going to do your cooking and all of that, and we'll just roll it into the rest of our planning for the parade. So,
Awesome. Thank you.
The same for the clerk's office. We'll just need to confirm if the trailer is coming in from Emmett, are you guys utilizing it just to operate, and we'll figure out the proper licensing with the city of Boise. And then the health department did mention that you'll probably qualify for a nonprofit exemption, but you'll still need to fill out an application with them. So if you could just communicate in the special events at cityofboise.org is the easiest way when you have multiple people. Just any updates you send to me, I can get them to the various entities. So we can all work and get that taken care of for you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
Maria.
Steve just wants to make sure that you have a keto-friendly option.
Keto, vegan, yeah.
Maria, I do have a follow-on question.
Please.
Besides, are you going to have warm melted butter?
Sure.
A lot of requests coming out of this team today. I feel like maybe people have skipped breakfast.
No. On the more serious side, what time is the parade going to shut down all of the streets in the downtown core?
We anticipate 5 a.m.
Okay.
to start our road closures.
Okay.
So
they're all going to be in effect by 7 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And 2 reasons. And the biggest reason I was asking right now, Maria, was to make sure that everything was closed down, because we're going to have pedestrians just walking all over the place in a pancake coma. I was looking for a good phrase because we're live.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, we are looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We have one after action review. Dylan, do you want to come up, and anyone that you brought with you today? And Dylan, as you're walking up with your team, I want to just preface that we're going to do this a little bit differently than this morning than we have in the past. I think everyone did a good job of compiling the after action event review. Dylan, I think you and your team have had time to review it. I will say I'm personally hoping that we can have a little bit of a reset this morning. It's not my intention to go around the room and and revisit everything that's in the report. I think you've had the opportunity to read it. I would appreciate the opportunity to maybe offline with you about opportunities this year and how we can work together and partner better this year. I think it's time to maybe take the temperature down just a little bit between this event and this team. So I would ask everyone at the table to join me in that. So really, Dylan, today just wanted to offer you the opportunity to ask any follow-up questions that you might have had after reading the report of anybody that you have from this team, because again, we're not going to go around the table and wag fingers.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that, Maria. I appreciate the sentiment, and that works for me. If we'd like to just hit the reset button and start fresh, I'm good with that. That said, I really don't have anything to report.
Well, that is easy peasy then. Cool. Well, I'll go ahead and reach out to you and let's set something up.
Okay.
Here sounds good. All right. We have a couple of events that are still looking for sign-offs. And as per usual, if you're waiting on anything in particular that Kelly can help with event organizers, please let her know. If you're just a little slow on the giddy up, please get in and sign off. I know sometimes we have folks doing that the morning of the meetings, but we've got those. And just remember, event organizers count on us signing up as quickly as possible, just as we count on event organizers getting us their information as quickly as possible. So let's hold up our end of the bargain as well. Anything else for the good of the order before we close the meeting today? All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Hope everybody gets out and about.